everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic back once again, and it's time to go down to Las Vegas, baby. That, of course, is because this weekend we have seen AEW Double or Nothing with lots of major matches in store. 2 world titles on the line, of course, with CM Punk trying to take that belt from Hangman Adam Page, and, of course, Thunder Rosa defending against Serena Deeb. But as we headed into the show, there was one match in particular on everyone's mind, MJF versus Wardlow. Would it happen? Would it not? Let's find out. And let's find out everything that happened, because this is what happened at AEW Double or Nothing 2022. Let's go. There's just one match on the pre-show to talk about, but before that, we get a little promo on the ramp from the Acclaimed and those ass boys, just to fire up the crowd. And it honestly works. The match in question is, of course, Hookhausen, the team of Hook and Danhausen, gotta love that Danhausen, against the team of Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling, who, by the way, have some wonderful matching ring attire. Danhausen curses Nese early on, what a sentence, but Nese takes control to huge heat. Like, while he and Sterling are beating Danhausen down, the crowd are raining down the boos. Danhausen is really over. Finally, Danhausen gets the hot tag to Hook, and Tony Nese runs away, really selling the threat of Hook, but Sterling hops down off the apron, and Nese is stuck in the ring with Hook. Hook takes both men out with a lot of suplexes, and with Sterling as the legal man out on the canvas, it's Danhausen who gets the tag to make the pinfall with a foot on the chest. The good guys win, and the pre-show has a happy ending. Lovely. The first match of the main show can only be described as strange, in my opinion. It's MJF versus Wardlow, and MJF's music hits. Everybody's wondering, of course, because of the rumors going around all weekend, is MJF actually going to show up? And I think deliberately he waits just a little bit longer than usual to come out, making everybody think for a second that he hasn't turned up. But he has, and MJF is at Double or Nothing. Once he gets in the ring, he even plays up to those rumors of a flight being booked for him out of Vegas before the show even took place. He's doing like a fake airplane mime in the ring and everything. Wardlow gets his big security Goldberg-esque entrance to no music, of course, but the crowd are really hot for him anyway. MJF runs away a bit and stalls a bit, and there are chants of he showed up, and then there's a powerbomb attempt from Wardlow early on, but MJF bites his way out of it. MJF then fakes a knee injury and pulls out the Dynamite Diamond ring, but the referee just catches him and confiscates it. Wardlow hits a big powerbomb and another, and a third one, and a fourth one, and 5 in total before putting his foot on the chest of MJF and then breaking it deliberately to dish out more punishment. And around this stage, I was starting to think, hang on, is this just a squash then? Wardlow hits a few more powerbombs and that's it. Wardlow squashes MJF. MJF's tricks didn't work, and he's stretched out of the arena. On the ramp, Tony Schiavone announces to Wardlow that he is now All Elite, and Wardlow's quite tearful, quite emotional. It's a nice moment for him, but that's just one part of the biggest story for me. What on earth happened here, and would the match have been different had we not had all of that MJF drama and rumors and everything? What has happened backstage? Maybe more will come out. I guess we'll have to wait and see. The next match is the Hardys versus the Young Bucks, and the Bucks are clearly not taking the Hardys very seriously at all at the beginning of this match, dancing a lot, mocking the Hardys, etc. But then the Hardys gain control and they mock the Young Bucks pose, but then Jeff kind of goes the wrong way with the pose, and I'm like, oh, come on, Jeff. But then the middle stages of this match get a little bit weird as Matt gets the hot tag from Jeff, who seems either injured or maybe having an issue with one of his boots. He's certainly not comfortable in there and seems to be having quite a full-on conversation with both Nick Jackson and the referee while Matt tries to kind of stall for time and take everybody's attention away from it. This lasts for quite a while with Matt basically wrestling a handicap match against both Bucks and Brandon Cutler for fairly large stages of this bout. The Hardys do eventually regain control of the match, and Jeff seems to have kind of walked it off maybe, or fixed the issue somehow. He heads up top, but misses a swanton. Then Matt Jackson hits the twist of fate. Nick hits a swanton of his own, but Jeff kicks out. And I thought that really would have been the finish. The Bucks then hit a lot of super kicks on both Hardy boys, but the Hardys remain defiant and won't go down. Matt rears back and spits at the Young Bucks, so they drill him and Jeff with a pair of final super kicks. But no, again, it's only a near fall. The Young Bucks set up steps on the outside, but the Hardys regain control once again, and Jeff hits a terrifying swanton bomb onto the set of ring steps. Back in the ring, the Hardys now basically have a bit of a victory parade, twist of fate, swanton bomb, and in a result I would not have predicted at all, the Hardy Boys beat the Young Bucks. The next match is the TBS title match between Jade Cargill and Anna Jay. Anna goes for the Queenslayer early on, but Jade powers out. And again, there seem to be one or two miscommunications in this match. And I'm thinking at this stage, is this just a bit of a cursed pay-per-view for AEW? To their credit though, they do get themselves back into the flow of things. But it doesn't go so well for Anna though, because the baddies try to get involved on the outside, but she turns the tables and hits them with a double DDT. Smart Mark Sterling hobbles down after his beating on the pre-show, and he slides a crutch into the ring and distracts the referee, but it's Anna Jay who gains control of the crutch and uses it to hit a Russian leg sweep, but it only gets 2. Here comes John Silver down to ringside to take care of Sterling with a big brainbuster, and back in the ring, Anna Jay reverses Jaded into a Queenslayer. Nice reversal there, but Jade escapes. Anna Jay gains control on the top rope, but then she is distracted by a shocking debut from Stokely Hathaway, formerly known in WWE, of course, as Malcolm Bivens, and before that known as Stokely Hathaway. Yeah. That's enough of a distraction for Jade Cargill to hit the Jaded, an avalanche Jaded from the middle rope actually, and get the win. She is still the TBS champion. But the drama is not over yet as Jade and the baddies prepare to beat down Anna Jay, but here comes Chris Statlander to stand in their way. But then who should come to even the odds, because it is only 3-on-2. It's another shocking debut, this time from Athena, known of course in WWE as Ember Moon. This is very exciting indeed, and I think she's a huge addition to the AEW women's division. And that's where the action kind of ends for this segment, just a big face-off between the heels and the baby faces, with a new debutante on either side, with Athena and Stokely Hathaway. Great to see. Next is the match I was probably looking forward to most, as well as CM Punk versus Hangman Page. It's the 6-man tag team match between the House of Black and Death Triangle. There's cool entrances for both teams, there's matching attire, or matching face paint I should say, for the House of Black, and it's all very exciting. There's a great series of exciting exchanges at the start, one-on-one between the different members of the teams. So first, Fenix and Malakai Black go back and forth, and they do stereo cross-legged sit-down poses and all that sort of stuff. Then Buddy Matthews and Penta do the same, and Penta even has his taunt stolen by Buddy, who then slaps him in the face. Finally, Brody King and Pac also have a great exchange, and then both teams have a huge stare down and an even huger brawl. Both Lucha Bros run wild with huge stereo dives and all that fun stuff, and then all 3 Death Triangle members cover Brody, but he powers them all off before the count of 3. There's more dives everywhere, and even Big Brody goes for one, but he kind of clips the ring apron on the way down. Thankfully, he seems okay. At one stage, Penta hits an insane Canadian Destroyer off Fenix's back on the apron, maybe the highlight spot of the match. And that leads to Malakai Black being surrounded in the ring by all 3 opponents, but he keeps on fighting and hits black masses to both Lucha Bros, but Pac avoids it because he's from Newcastle. Alex Abrahantes distracts the referee on the apron, and Pac hits a low blow to Malakai. Weird choice since he's the face and everything, but you know, it's okay. He goes up for the Black Arrow, but then the lights go down, and when they come back up, Julia Hart is in the ring. She spits black mist in Pac's face, he's all disorientated, and Malakai Black hits a final black mass, and that's enough for 3. The House of Black win, and they finally have a new member. Next up, it's the final of the men's Owen Hart Foundation tournament, Samoa Joe versus Adam Cole, baby. Joe is dominant from the start with stiff strikes and headbutts and stuff, but when they head outside, Adam Cole gains control with a super kick and then rams Joe into the apron and the ring post, damaging his arm. Back in the ring, Cole goes for Panama Sunrise, but Joe counters and takes control of the match for a while. He goes for a big powerbomb, but he can't hold Cole up because of that injured arm. No worries for Joe though, because he just uses the other arm to destroy Adam Cole with a monstrous lariat. Cole fights his way back into the match and applies more pressure to the arm with a crossface, but Joe makes the ropes. Joe then returns the favor with a big powerbomb, he finally nails it, into a modified STF, but Adam Cole also makes the ropes. Bobby Fish interferes briefly, but Joe avoids the subsequent boom attempt from Cole and locks in the coquina clutch. Cole gets out though and hits a few super kicks before finally nailing the boom, but it's only good enough for 2. No, wait a second, that's it, it's good enough for 3. Wow. I thought maybe it would be a little bit longer, but it was certainly enjoyable while it lasted. Congratulations to Adam Cole. I think everyone should agree probably a worthy winner of the first Owen Hart Foundation tournament, so fair play to him. And the next match is the final of the women's tournament. Britt Baker, DMD, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, excuse me, taking on Ruby Soho. Britt is played to the ring by the guitarist from Fozzy, who plays her theme tune, and then Rancid play Ruby Soho's theme tune, which is the Rancid song Ruby Soho. It's an awesome moment. I genuinely really loved this. I preferred it to the Fozzy guy as well. Sorry, Fozzy guy. Ruby takes control early on, which commentary credit to Rancid firing her up, which I understand. I will be fired up as well. Britt fights back into the match, but Ruby hits a big, I think, is it like a stage dive? Is that what she calls it? She jumps off the apron and boots Britt with both feet, and then has a bit of a painful landing on the floor as well, but she's all right, folks. Britt works down Ruby quite heelishly, working the ribs and the body and yanking her into the ring post and stuff. She also talks mad trash, yo, which leads to a big strike exchange, which Ruby wins. Ruby then hits her big senton from the top rope, but it only gets 2. Britt gets a near fall of her own off a curb stomp and then goes for lockjaw, but Ruby just about reverses it. And what does she reverse it into? Nothing other than a sharpshooter. But to my surprise, after a long struggle, Britt actually makes the ropes, and I was convinced that was going to be the finish. Ruby goes for a victory roll, but why would you go for a victory roll in a match associated with Owen Hart, who famously beat Brett by reversing a victory roll, which is exactly what Britt Baker does. She reverses Ruby's victory roll attempt and pins her 1, 2, 3. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, wins the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Interestingly, after the match, Britt gives Ruby a handshake and helps her to her feet, quite reluctantly, but she does do it, which is a nice piece of character development there. Maybe it was just because of the occasion of the tournament, I don't quite know, but it was interesting to note. On the ramp, Tony Schiavone introduces Dr. Martha Hart for the ceremony, which also involves Adam Cole, of course, and it's just genuinely a lovely moment. Martha gives a nice speech, she thanks a lot of people, and yeah, it's just one of those moments in wrestling that we thought maybe we'd never see, but we're so glad we did. Martha presents Cole and Britt with special title belts, and of course, the Owen Cup too. And she says the title is yours to enjoy, the cup is yours to enjoy until we meet again next year. Oh, very exciting times, and genuinely, as I say, a lovely moment. The next match is the 6-person mixed tag match between Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page, and Paige VanZant, and the team of Sami Guevara, Ty Conti, and Frankie Kazarian. And of course, Sami and Conti have the UFC belts that they stole from American Top Team HQ. There's early discontent between the members of the babyface team, the heel babyface team, when Sami chops Kazarian to tag him in. Don't you annoy Big Frankie. The crowd are certainly booing the face heels rather than the heel faces, which only gets worse when Sami distracts the ref and Tay hits Sky from the apron. Sami and Ty start messing around on the floor, celebrating and stuff, and Kazarian wants to tag out. He's like, come on, you stupid sons of bitches! And then a miscommunication also knocks him off the apron. He's not a happy bunny. Ty and VanZant tag in, and Conti gets taken down and beaten up. Sami gets in to save her, but Paige just hits him with a big punch to the gut and a tornado DDT, and then a drop toe hold, sending Ty crotch first. Sending Ty head first into Sami's crotch. I got there in the end, and it's really rude. Ty gets back on top of the match, and she and Sami celebrate a lot, but then get surrounded by their opponents. Kazarian thinks about saving them, but then goes, no, screw you, to the biggest pop of the match. Ty gets right in his face and starts shouting at him, and then Sami comes in with a huge super kick. Kazarian ducks, and Sami clocks his girlfriend by accident and totally wipes her out. Kazarian throws Sami out of the ring, but turns straight into a finisher from Scorpio Sky. 1, 2, 3, an American Top Team win, which means that Sami and Frankie can never challenge for the TNT title ever again. The next match is one of the later additions to the Double or Nothing card, but a good matchup nonetheless. Darby Allin versus Kyle O'Reilly. Darby seems to catch a big knee strike to the face early on, and his mouth is busted open. A little bit later, O'Reilly goes for his version of our favorite move, the wacky line, but Darby avoids it sadly and hits Stun Dog Millionaire. Darby goes for his low pay to the outside, but it goes horribly wrong actually, and he splats onto the floor. We're not at first sure what he was trying to do, but then they repeat the spot and it kind of becomes apparent. That's because on the second attempt, O'Reilly manages to catch Darby in midair into a guillotine. Very nice. Back inside, Kyle kicks out of the Last Supper and gets an ankle lock. He grapevines the leg, but Darby rolls through and turns it into a sharpshooter. A nice exchange of submissions there. Darby nails the coffin drop with Kyle caught between the ropes and tries it once again back in the ring, but this time O'Reilly catches him in an armbar. It's not enough to put him away though, so Kyle uses Darby's necklace to choke him, but it pings off, it like snaps, and it looks very sore for Darby indeed, but the match carries on. Kyle now though has full momentum and nails several PKs to the chest and the top rope knee drop to pin Darby Allin and win the match. Now as I say, this had minimal build to it, but it was a great matchup, and it has to be said, a big singles win for Kyle O'Reilly. Next up is the AEW Women's title match with the champion Thunder Rosa defending against the challenger Serena Deeb. There's a lot of intense grappling at the start of this one with an exchange of pinfall attempts and then an exchange of different submissions as well. In fact, this was a very varied match. I think that's my key takeaway from this match is that both women went through a big repertoire of all different types of moves, from impact moves to strikes to submissions. There was a lot of versatility on display. Deeb grinds Rosa down, but Rosa fires up and the crowd are right behind her, but then Serena gets back into it and hits a nice rolling neckbreaker for 2. Shortly after that, Thunder Rosa whips Deeb hard into the middle turnbuckle and she crashes into it face first. Jeez. Deeb gets the octopus hold locked in, and later, I don't really know what to call it, quite a unique, I'll call it a flipping face lock slam from the middle rope. It's very nifty indeed. Rosa hits a double stomp to the back, followed by a quick Death Valley driver, but it only gets 2. Serena, in turn, gets the figure 4 leg lock locked in, but Thunder Rosa sits up and they strike away at each other before Rosa rolls all the way under the bottom rope to the outside to break the hold. Serena hits the detox, but Thunder Rosa gets her foot on the ropes to save her title reign, so Serena goes for the Serenity lock, then a powerbomb, and then a Texas Cloverleaf, chaining these different moves together, but again, Thunder Rosa makes the ropes. They head up top in the corner, and Thunder Rosa hits a big superplex, transitioning straight into the Fire Thunder driver, and that's enough for 3, and to retain the AEW Women's Championship. Thunder Rosa is still the champ. From one technically sound wrestling match to another, it's time for the Anarchy in the Arena match between the Jericho Appreciation Society and Danielson and Kingston, Ortiz and Santana and Moxley as well, yeah. The babyface team. The JAS are all out in what I think is supposed to be Clockwork Orange attire, but it comes across to me more Backstreet Boys. The face team all come out down through the crowd in street clothes, and there's a big brawl in the crowd to start things off, and after a few minutes it becomes quite apparent that they're just going to play Wild Thing in full, and then when it ends, they just play it again. It's got New Jack sort of vibes in ECW. They just play the song throughout. Well, not throughout, but they play it twice, and it takes up a good chunk of the opening portion of the match. There's weapons used in the crowd. Moxley's using a fork. Jericho's using the end of like some sunglasses as well, and Matt Menard, by the way, is busted open big time by brawling with Eddie Kingston. There is some action at the ringside area as well, as Santana and Ortiz hit an insane double team move on Jake Hager through a pair of tables. A little bit later on, Daniel Garcia pile drives Ortiz onto the steel steps, and that's kind of what equates to a transitional move in this match. There is comedy as well, unintentional comedy, as Jericho puts on the walls of Jericho on Moxley on the timekeeper's table, which collapses softly beneath them. In the ring, Moxley unscrews the top turnbuckles and uses one of them to batter Jericho, while somewhere off in the crowd, Santana and Ortiz hit stereo dives from a huge ladder through a pair of tables. Jericho uses a fire extinguisher on John Moxley, and then Moxley and Danielson slowly crawl back into the ring and start putting like a million elbows to Jericho and Hager. It looks like they're on top and they're going to win the match for their team, but then Eddie Kingston kind of ruins it. He comes staggering. He's been the one, by the way, who's obviously taken this feud the most personally, and he comes staggering down the ramp. He's found like a petrol can from somewhere, and he's all covered in blood. He kind of looks like a zombie and just douses Jericho in gasoline. But Danielson's like, whoa, what are you doing? And they have a bit of a brawl because Danielson doesn't really approve of this, and also some of the petrol got on him too. Moxley tries to break them up, but he gets shoved into a barbed wire pallet on the outside, and it's time for the Jericho Appreciation Society to finish Danielson off with a big shot from the loose turnbuckles, but he kicks out. Danielson fights bravely against Hager and Jericho. He hits a big knee to Jericho while he's carrying the chair, but Jericho kicks out. I really thought that was the finish. Hager gets back on top, battering Danielson's knee with the baseball bat, and then Jericho puts on a single leg Boston Crab while Hager chokes Danielson out with the loose ring rope, and Danielson passes out, and the referee has no choice but to call for the bell. The Jericho Appreciation Society win a wild and eventful match. Next up, a couple of video packagey or backstage segments, probably to give them a chance to put the ring back together and everything. First, we get a little Andrade video where he reveals that his friend is here, and it's none other than Rush. If you're not familiar with Rush, he is a great luchador and also a former Ring of Honor World Champion, and both men, of course, have their roots in the now legendary Los Ingobernables stable in Mexico, which obviously gave birth kind of to LIJ over in Japan. So it'll be exciting to see what Rush does in AEW, and then we head backstage where Scorpio Sky is challenged by Dante Martin for the TNT Championship. The next match is the penultimate match of the night, the tag team title three-way match between Jurassic Express, Shane Strickland or Swerve Strickland, and Keith Lee, and Team Taz. There's a big brawl to start things off, which the champions win with high-flying excitement. Jungle Boy goes for 3 dives, but then Big Keith catches the third one and powerbombs him onto Luchasaurus's back. Ricky Starks takes control and goes for his cocky rope walk spot, but Jungle Boy crotches him, and then Swerve Strickland just hits a casual moonsault off Keith Lee's chest to the outside. As you do. The 3 big boys of each team have a face-off, and Luchasaurus takes a huge double chokeslam. Keith Lee then hits maybe my favorite spot of the whole match, a ridiculous tope con hilo to the outside, a move that a man of his size should not be able to do. Hobbs does very well though as well with a double blockbuster off the top rope, and it's just all kicking off. Ricky Starks goes for a dirty rope assisted pinfall attempt, but Christian knocks his feet off the ropes and gets launched into the ring steps by Hobbs for his troubles. Luchasaurus accidentally kicks Jungle Boy in the face, and Jungle Boy then takes Lee and Strickland's double team finisher, but Hobbs breaks it up in the nick of time. Ricky Starks then clocks Keith Lee with one of the title belts and goes to hit Jungle Boy as well, but Christian drags him out of the ring. This leaves Strickland on his own with both members of Jurassic Express, and they hit their double team finisher to retain those title belts in a very hard fought and exciting match. And I don't know if I was just reading too much into it, but afterwards, when Christian was celebrating with Jungle Boy on his shoulders, was Luchasaurus a little bit jealous there? Or was he just confused in a sort of dinosaur-y way? I'm not sure, but let me know what you think in the comments below. And finally, the main event of the evening, the AEW World Championship match with Hangman Adam Page defending against CM Punk. There's a big, intense stare down at the bell, and then a lot of bad-tempered, choppy chops. Punk takes control of the match to a mixed reaction, but then Hangman does the same, also to a mixed reaction. The crowd are very split here. The momentum swings back and forth, the match goes inside and outside of the ring until Hangman hits his big moonsault to the outside, but jams his knee on the landing. So back in the ring, Punk locks in the sharpshooter, but Hangman gets to the ropes. They attempt each other's finishers, but manage to avoid both, but then Punk does hit the buckshot, but unfortunately he slips on his landing in the ring and then just gets up and hits a clothesline anyway. The crowd boo this heavily. I can't work out whether it's because he botched it or whether it's because he stole his opponent's finisher. It could be a bit of both. Anyway, Hangman kicks out and then regains control of the match and hits Deadeye for a very, very near fall. Hangman motions quite evilly for the GTS. Look at his little face. But Punk manages to kick out of his stolen finisher, so they're quite even in that regard. Hangman takes things to the outside and just carts Punk over the timekeeper's table. Then he grabs his own title and taunts Punk with the belt, saying, "This is mine and you'll never have it." And the ref, I think maybe is worried that he's going to use it, so he takes it off him, and then, oh, silly referee, he puts it on the ring apron. Inevitably, the match gets back in the ring. Hangman goes for the buckshot, but no, it gets countered into the GTS, but no, that gets countered, but the ref gets bumped in the midst of all this. Hangman obviously thinks heavily about using the belt now that the referee is down, and he holds it and pauses for a long time, but he can't quite bring himself to do it in more ways than one, because then he goes for the buckshot lariat, but it's reversed into one final climactic go to sleep, and CM Punk pins him to become the new AEW World Champion. Wow, what a dramatic conclusion to a very long night of wrestling, it has to be said. There were lots of twists and turns, lots of ups and downs, and matches of very varying quality in my opinion. But there we go, we have a new world champion, CM Punk. What on earth is going to happen next for both Punk and for Hangman as well? I think there's still a lot more of this story to be told. Let me know as well what you thought of Double or Nothing 2022 in that comment section down below. What did you love? What did you hate? And everything in between. And thank you, of course, for watching this video. I've been Jack from Cultaholic. A massive shout out to both Owen and Luke for editing this very video. We've all had a very late night and we're all going to bed now. Thanks once again, and I'll see you very soon.